If you're not ready for it, one of the most stressful parts of a road race is trying to navigate your way through a water station and get some water into your hands effectively. If you haven't known how to do it or you're not prepared for it, it can come as a real shock and add too much stress to you going into the latter stages of that race. So in this video, I'm going to offer you a few little techniques, a few little strategies to make sure that you have the best opportunity to get your water and do it stress-free. Well, in an ideal world, we each want to have a person that we know at an allocated part of a race with our chosen liquid in a little pop-top bottle that we can close down and run with for a couple of kilometers. Not only does that just remove any stress of having to rely on the aid stations that you'll find at a race, but it gives us confidence to know that what's in that bottle is exactly what we've been practicing. It also gives us the confidence to know that we're definitely going to get that liquid. However, we don't all have the luxury of being able to organize a friend for every race that we're at, so sometimes we're left to rely on the aid stations that the race organizers provide. That is the specific situation that I want to offer a little bit of help with you today. And the first thing that you can do in this situation is the night before the race, spend a little bit of time familiarizing yourself with exactly where those aid stations are around the course. So many websites, so many races offer you some insight as to where they will be located. And it's so much nicer to be able to stand on a start line with confidence that every 2Ks or every 3Ks is going to be your next drink station. That stress of not knowing, especially at times where you start to get a little bit thirsty, can add too much mental pressure, and it can just really throw you off focusing on your race and your running efficiency and your technique and just getting through the race. So familiarizing yourself, if possible, with where those aid stations are can be a really handy way to go into the race. The second thing you're going to want to do is, as you run through those aid stations, take some time to slow down. Too many athletes try and run at fast pace. If they're running a marathon, half marathon, even a 10K, you've got room to slow it down for just a few steps. What's more effective is slowing it down, making sure you get the water in your hand, and then picking up the pace once you've got it. Don't run the risk of going so fast that you miss the very reason that you're actually going through that station. As another point, as you approach the actual aid station, you'll see the people standing there with the water ready to hand it out to you, but it's not only overwhelming for you, hoping, oh, I hope I get this water, it's overwhelming for them sometimes to know exactly who's going to take the cup. So as you approach, I would aim for the very first person in line. Make sure you point at them directly and say you. Once you've got the eye contact, you point at them and you've spoken to them. There's no confusion about who is getting their water. When you have that agreement, that transaction can take place far more efficiently. Don't run the risk of just trying to grab any water cup from anyone without making that little eye contact beforehand. It's just going to increase your chances of making sure you get that water, especially if there's a whole heap of people around. The other thing I'm going to tell you, for the sake of yourself and also for the sake of the other people in the race, is make sure you're not making a last minute beeline to the drink station. If you can see that in 500 meters there's another one coming up, veer across the road very gradually just to make sure you're in line with it. There is nothing worse for other runners in the race, and for yourself if you trip over, than making that last minute beeline, getting in the way of everyone else, them getting angry at you, you getting stressed and feeling bad, and the drink station people just feeling super confused. So make sure you give yourself and the others around you plenty of time to know what it is that you're doing. Veer across the road. Once you've done that, you want to make eye contact with the very first person in that aid station line. The reason for that is the aid station, say it goes for about 20 meters. If you miss that first drink by any chance, it gives you another 15 or 20 meters to be able to jig yourself and make sure that you get one of those cups. Don't leave it to the last minute where you'll see people trying to take it off the last couple of people, missing their opportunity, getting stressed, getting flustered, not wanting to make a U-turn to go and get it. So line it up in advance. Don't make any last minute beelines. Get that first drink if possible, and if you miss it, at least it gives you the opportunity to get one later in that first aid station. Once you've got your cup in your hand, chances are they're going to be a little cardboard cup. You don't just want to run with it and try and balance the water or whatever's in the cup the best of your ability, because so much of it's going to splash out with such an open space at the top. That water's going to fly everywhere, especially with that momentum coming up and down off the ground. So what you're going to do, as soon as you get that cup, you're going to do your best to squeeze the top of it, so 90% of that open space at the top is closed up, making that room for the water to splash out of far smaller, and the room for you to be able to actually get that water into your mouth far more accurately. There's so much frustration and stress for athletes when you're trying to drink it, maintain your pace, and there's water splashing in your face, up your nose, over your hair. So close off that surface area at the top, drink it far more easily, and if you need to, you've got a little bit left over, you can run with that and have another drink in a few hundred meters if that's something that you need. Guys, that's just a few little practical tips to help you out when it comes to organizing the aid station of your race. The most important thing is just go into it relaxed, go into it with a plan, slow down a little bit, and make sure that you do your best to get that drink early on in that aid station. Best of luck for your race. If you've got any other questions, whack them in the comments below, and I'll see you all next week.